This place is really cool, great ruins, and riding 3 chicken buses and 1 moto, plus the entry fee, you will spend less than 150 Q or less than $20 US. It is a deal. Now, if you don't want to figure out your own logistics, which are a lot of the fun, you could probably pay some tour agency a bunch of money and they'll lead you by the hand, dog and pony style, and you'll be in and out here really quick. You won't spend as much time as I have here with my friend Wade wandering around, looking at the great ruins and perusing the museum on site. This adventure cost me 5Q for the first chicken bus, 3.5 Q for the second chicken bus. A much longer one through some really crazy twisty mountain roads cost 25 Q. Then it costs 10 Q for a moto from the nearest city, Tecpan. And entrance into this site was 50 Q. So altogether today will cost me less than 150 Q, which is less than $20 USD. So that's a pretty good deal. First stop, chicken bus adventure. Plaza de Armas, Solola. Hey, give us a critique on the chicken buses so far today.
The first chicken bus was more luxury. It had power connector elements. This bus is more rafting style bus. No power outlet.
Yes, but you have the numbers of the seats up there just like a rafting bus. I'm sure those are original from the school this served once upon a time, but the previous bus, like Wade said, had grounded power strips for every single seat. Tuk-tuk ride. Tecpan to the ruins. We walked part of the way. Oh, look, it's a frog. Riding along with my crazy Canadian friend Wade.
Hi, fast friends, Mom. Fast Mom.
3 chicken bus rides. A bit of a walk to town just for the hell of it after some more cafe and breakfast, the sandwiches, and a tuk-tuk ride. And here we are at the ruins. Woo! We're going to see if it was worth the adventure. I checked out the museum, did not shoot video there, but there are signs of ritual sacrifice or gladiatorial sacrifice inside with crushed skulls with very fine teeth, letting you know it's someone in nobility or high social standing were the ones they took the trouble of sacrificing. You can see, unlike in the Andes, they actually use mortar here and concrete, lime to make it, the cement to dress everything out. My understanding is that it was all painted red in the day. Wow, what a complex. You see some of the temples seem rather intact for some other places I've been. This is in Guatemala. I'm staying in Panajachel. This is near Tecpan. 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 So it's auto-sacrifice. That's where people bleed themselves. And you can see the ways they use. You followed my video from Mexico City. There was a lot of examples of that. So I think it's a really good deal for less than $20 for the trip from, well, for 150 Q for the trip here and admission and the same cost back. I think it's a great deal for just $20 or shy thereof, actually. They don't want you climbing on everything, but this place is pretty wide open compared to most of the ruins I've visited from the Mayan era elsewhere. As you can see, unlike the Inca, they actually use mortar. Or their stones are a lot smaller too. And earthquakes not quite so bad here as they are in the Andes. Fortunately, some people decide to scrawl graffiti onto the ancient mortar and stucco. Until this was built in multi-layers, like much of Mesoamerica. As you can see sandwiched, there's fill in between this layer of stucco, masonry, and then there's another layer of stucco and masonry. They certainly didn't put stucco on to bury it, but as they expanded and built bigger pyramids above and on top of the old ones, this did occur. Iximche is located 3 kilometers south of Tecpan in Guatemala. This adventure to visit the ruins began on the shores of Lake Atitlan at Panajachel, Guatemala. After spending a month in Panajachel, I was ready to see some history and culture in Guatemala. My friend Wade joined me on this trip, and our pal Alan provided some information regarding the transportation options available. Chicken buses are a very popular means of transportation in Guatemala. Wade and I met at the church in town, which is one of the chicken bus stops, Tuesday morning to catch a bus to Solola. The process was very simple. We just asked each arriving bus if it was going to Solola. The third bus was indeed headed our way, so we boarded and found seats in the basically completely empty bus. The ride was not long, but there were some great views of the lake as we went up the mountain. This first leg of the trip only cost 3.5 Q, or about 44 cents USD. This first bus to Solola dropped us off the main square. We quickly found the next bus bound to Los Encuentros, our second stop, right there at the main square. This leg of the trip, the second that is, was 5Q, or about 63 cents. It was a longer ride than the first. We got dropped off in a larger town along the highway at a major intersection. Use care if you need to cross the road here. Or don't. Don't cross the road. We quickly and easily found the next bus awaiting for us and headed toward Tecpan. This was the most expensive leg of the trip at a cost of 25 Q, or about $3.17 US dollars. This was a more exciting ride through the mountains. You actually needed to hold on to the seat so you didn't get slung around as you went around the tight curves. The bus attendant alerted us of our stop for Tecpan at an intersection along the highway. It'd be a good idea to let the attendant know where you're going so they help you get your stop. This one might be tricky to notice if you're not familiar. We were a little tired after this ride, and the bus did get rather packed along the way, but it wasn't bad. So we took a break and had some coffee at a nice little restaurant at a resort located right on the corner of this intersection. Then we began a walk to Tecpan. We walked for maybe 15 minutes, and then we found a tuk-tuk and rode to the ruins. This saved about 45 minutes versus walking the whole way, and it only cost 10 Q. The tuk-tuk ride to the ruins was uneventful, but took a while due to a funeral along the way. The moto taxi ride, like I said, was only 10Q, or about $6.34 US currency. So altogether, one-way transportation costs totaled 43.5Q, or about $5.52 US. This was an easy trip, and even those with very limited Spanish should easily be able to arrange this trip. Taking a tour instead would cost well over another $100 for transportation alone. We could have used a private driver at the cost of $60 US. Splitting that, it would have been $30 a piece. I really think taking the chicken buses added some value to this trip, and also could be very helpful to others, as you may have more difficulty finding a private driver for as cheap as $60 is willing to drive you there, hang out with you while you're at the ruins, and then drive you back. The entrance ticket to the ruins cost 50Q, or about $6.30 US dollars. The museum was small but had interesting exhibits, had some human remains of people who were sacrificed here, and had a full model layout of Iximche. Anyway, it laid out where everything was, where the moat was, where the important buildings were. The layout of the city and the mall was impressive, and the museum helped add context and value to the visit to the ruins. Don't skip it. Make sure you spend some time there. This city, Iximche, was founded around 1470. It's kind of a long story about how they parted ways with their former allies after the death of an important king. Apparently, there was some bad relations between the king's son and the two lords of this kingdom. So they went down to this location further south. This city was a defensive and fortified city. Access to the city was only possible over a bridge that crossed an 8-meter deep artificial ditch or moat, that being 25 feet deep. 25 feet deep for those of you who don't understand the metric system. The surrounding cliffs on all other sides provided natural defenses along the plateau, and the ditch was at a narrow spot in the plateau, giving them really good advantage militarily speaking. Research has discovered about 170 buildings within the monumental core of the city. These buildings include temples, pyramids, altars, palaces, houses, administrative buildings, among others. I walked the complex for a couple hours exploring ruins and enjoying the nice weather and climate. This place was very peaceful, like a really nice state park back home in the States. There were other people there and at least one organized tour group. Toward the rear of the complex, practitioners of Mayan spirituality were performing ceremonies at an altar. However, the entire complex is considered sacred because it is the resting place of ancestors. There was a strong odor of paraffin where they're holding ceremonies. They're burning a lot of candles. I thought they had a campfire going, but it was a big heap of candles and the wax burning. It was quite the fire. It was very interesting, and you will get a little glimpse of that in this video. After visiting Iximche and taking the long walk back toward Tecpan, a local mentioned some local moonshine was available, and it was made from corn. So, of course, like any self-respecting hillbilly, I had to try me a sample. The local shine was mighty fine, very clean, quite tasty. I would say it was about 120 proof. The reverse trip back to Panajachel was uneventful, although the buses did get really packed as rush hour approached. The total price of this venture was only $17.34 USD. I highly recommend you take the time to figure out logistics yourself and use this as your cheat sheet. Check out the description. It will have some more helpful information, possibly links to a supporting page and maps to make it easy on you. And now I'm going to try the local corn squeezins in an authentic clay drinking vessel. Of course, they do give you salt and lime, just like tequila. I don't know if I'll need it. I'm going to drink it straight up. I want to taste it. Them corn squeezins was good. Got down in one large sip or swallow. It was really tasty and very smooth and at least 100 proof.
The strong odor of paraffin burning from all the candles.
And I'm walking through a real ball court. Some of the places where they say men became gods. Yeah. It was a long story. Mesoamerica. These ruins are some of the most interesting I've seen so far. And you can pretty much wander around, see whatever you want. There's only a few places they have signs asking you not to climb on the ruins. So you can do a lot of adventuring and studying and spend some time. It's not too crowded if you come on a weekday. This is a Tuesday. It's really nice. I very much enjoyed my time here, and I strongly urge you to travel and see some interesting sights in Guatemala and other locations in the Americas. Doesn't cost a lot of money. Spanish isn't hard to learn. You only need a little bit to really get around decently. The more you learn, the more fun you'll have, and the cheaper everything gets. The chicken bus adventures continue. Return trip. On our way back to Panajachel. This is one of 3 chicken bus rides to get back. I forgot to videotape the tuk-tuk ride. We cut 15 minutes off the walk back from an archaeological site to the bus stop. We walked most of it. Cats of McKaysville, what a great place to come eat breakfast or lunch. And if you're taking the train from Blue Ridge, you got to check this place out. You'll see it on your way into town. They have really great gravy, and people that show up after 11 o'clock are often really sad because they can't get it. That's right. You got to be here in the morning before 11 o'clock if you want to try the most slawed over famous gravy in McKaysville.